out of 10 cats. From Max and Patty, it's Patrick McGinnis. Funny Man, Ed Burns. And their captain, Dave Spikey. And facing them tonight, just stepped out of the salon, it's Jade Goody. Comedian Reginald D. Hunter. And their captain, Sean Locke. Now, welcome your host, my friend and yours, Jimmy Carr.
And welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, if you were to count up every hot dog sold outside football grounds in Britain on a Saturday, chances are your nickname's Rain Man. 40,000 Americans are injured in the toilet every year. Most accidents are from people slipping on a wet floor. Just goes to show you've got to look out for number one. Half of all the people who have ever smoked have now stopped. Sounds good, but when I say stopped, a lot of them have died. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Dave, your team to go first. What have the nation been talking about this week?
Well, around our way, it's been this smoking ban. I think the government reneged on the deal again, where they said that it was going to be a partial ban. I know they've changed their mind and it's a full ban. They were going to have designated areas in pubs, weren't they, for smoking? And to my mind, that's like having a swimming bath with designated urinating areas.
But it's part of the week that Tony Blair was worried about in his dual premiership. He's worried about this week because him and Brown were trying to push these measures through, and so far they've got them all through, I think.
I've been in this country since, what, 97?
Yeah,
and I've been hearing about Gordon Brown going to eventually be Prime Minister, and it's supposed to be this shift of power, and he was in the paper about it again this week. And I noticed Gordon seemed to have a lot more to say about this than Tony do. It's almost like he's a girlfriend who thinks he's a girlfriend, but he ain't really no girlfriend. I see him begging, like, when am I gonna be Prime Minister? And Tony's like, soon, baby. Paperwork, baby. You know, paperwork takes time.
The people I always felt sorry for in Ireland since they brought in the smoking ban is the passive smokers, you know? Because these people are, you know, who've been passively smoking all their drinking lives. They're sitting in pubs now going, isn't it great there's no smoking, it's fantastic, my clothes don't stink, there's no ashtray full of muck, it's brilliant. But why do I feel so terribly on edge all of a sudden?
So they should ban drinking in pubs as well. That's really lousy for your health. And the idea that it's antisocial, I have never seen a group of smokers rampaging down the high street, kicking in windows, pushing old ladies over going, whee, whee.
If they do go on a rampage down the street, it's not very far because they tend to run out of breath about halfway down that street.
I don't understand. How's it going to work? Is there going to be police forces in every single pub and restaurant? So when you light a cigarette, they say 50 quid, please. Put that out or you're arrested.
What you do is, the reason people stop is not the fear of the fine, it's just everyone going...
I think we lead the world in tutting, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh. When we first brought it in Ireland, I wasn't even thinking. And I went to light up a cigarette, first time I was back, and the guy's like, you can't smoke in here, I'll have to take it outside, it's the law. I'm like, fair enough, and I'm on my way out, he goes, but you can't take your drink outside. I'm like, oh, you're just trying to annoy me now, aren't you? I have to stand outside, just leave me beer just inside the door, and just stand outside and just sort of look at me beer as I'm smoking the fag. You can feel the beer looking back at you, the beer, the fag, you all know in our hearts you belong together.
They have banned it in some American cities, haven't they? Do you approve?
Well, as I live here, I couldn't give a fuck about what's going on.
There are times you really fancy a cigarette, and it's going to be quite tricky. Like, you know, if you just cheated death in an air disaster, you really want to have a cigarette then?
I reckon they'll let you.
Yeah, do you reckon?
If you've just cheated death in an air disaster.
Yeah. But you won't care anyway, will you? Just go, piss off.
Yeah.
I think put that plane out.
Are you saying, like, if your seat somehow gets thrown out of the plane into a pub?
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look and see whether the smoking ban is one of the top 5 most talked about things this week.
Get in.
Yes, it is. Interestingly, the ban on smoking will not apply to Wales, which is one more reason to visit Wales, which brings the total to 1. Sean, Jade, Reginald, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Well, I think definitely the Winter Olympics. The thing I find really fascinating is the judges in the ice skating. They're just so harsh. Because you can see in ice skating, do amazing things like leap in the air, do 3 twists, come down on one leg, skate off, spin round, and we're all going, that's amazing. And the judge goes, moved his head. I'd like to see what score I'd get on the ice.
Have you ever skated before?
A little bit, but I'd be clinging to the side. What score I'd get? Well, I get like 0.1.
Well, we win very little, so we could introduce events that we'd have a chance of winning over here that we're good at in this country. Sliding down a hill on a bin bag. They'd be at the top of the hill at Swiss going, what do you think, Hans? We'd be halfway down. Come on, Billy! Trees, in and out of trees. We could have old men clearing the path relay.
Pissing in snow.
Yeah.
Writing your name.
I love the curling, do you not? I can't go to bed if curling's on. 6-pack bag of nuts, I'm up all night if curling's on. I'm like, that me. Use your brush, use your brush!
I think it'd be nice if in the middle of the target they had a hole and you heard a big sploosh.
Yeah. Do you know, this year, one of the English teams said it, the ice is not up to the standard it should be for Olympics, and so it's not as exciting as it should be.
How you gonna have the Winter Olympics and not have a snowball fight? They should have a snowball fight, everybody wearing a flag representing their country, and whoever just get bust dead center in the head. Boosh!
If we drew Germany in the semi-finals, whoa!
It'd be bloodshed.
Get some coal in, Billy, get some coal in. Hey, come on!
Can I just say, are you sure you know what you're talking about? Because I didn't think the Olympics even started, because I thought we was having it here.
No, you're absolutely right. The Olympics isn't on. I'm mental. Yeah. I don't know what I was going about. What are you talking about? The Winter Olympics? Will you shut up? We're just mad.
So the Olympics is going to be in here somewhere.
When is it here?
Yeah.
When's it here, Jade?
I don't know. That's why I'm a bit confused if he's on now.
No, you might be right. Jesus Christ, you better tell Hazel Irvine and the whole British team out there reporting these crazy foreigners slipping about on the ice.
I thought you might be watching that celebrity ice skating thing.
Have you been watching celebrity ice skating and you got confused?
No.
You know, that's the first thing I flick on when I come home in the evening. I don't want to drink, I don't want to smoke, I don't want to touch nobody's ass, I want to watch celebrity ice skate. That's me, yeah.
There's not enough dogs on ice. Take a dog into the middle of an ice rink, put it down, go off to the edge, shout it.
Well, let's have a look and see whether the Winter Olympics is one of the most talked about things this week.
Oh, it is.
Yes, the Winter Olympics kicked off last week. Britain's Tom Clemens took part in the 10K skiing sprint. He had to be content with 79th position. He was beaten by Spring. A scientist had to invent a new metal for his medal, Lastium. Dave Sting, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
What about that bloke, the British guy, the climber on holiday in Spain, who ended up having to survive by drinking his own piss? Which takes something out of the story when you're using it as a chat-up, I think. You know, yes, I survived for 5 days. Just me, man against the elements. What did you do? Well, I had to make a little covey in a crevasse of grass. I drank my own piss. And they're like, you did what? I hid in a crevasse. No, after that. Just drink my own piss? Yeah, all right, see you later.
It was a brilliant story, but it wasn't one of the most talked about things this week. This was the story of a British man who kept himself alive on a Spanish mountain by drinking his own urine. He managed to inch himself along the ground for some 300 metres with a broken hip and beat the British bobsleigh record by 1.39 seconds. Sean Steen, what else have people been talking about this week?
Valentine's Day. People have been talking about that. I think Asda had a card. Their big publicity stunt, they had a card which was retail for 8p.
If someone got me that, I'd be mortified.
But the thing is, though, Jade, if you hung around till closing time, you get it for 6p.
I could have just nicked it.
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, all of that crazy stuff. Just, it bugs me. It's International Test Day, so a woman get to test how much her man love her. For instance, I can't tell my lady if she got a fat ass. Now, because you ain't supposed to tell a lady she got a fat ass. Even if she asks you she got a fat ass, you can't say she got a fat ass, because even though she suspects she got a fat ass. But I got to lie and subvert reality and pretend that she don't have a fat ass, when reality, the reason I'm with her is because she got a fat ass.
But you have just told her she's got a fat ass now, haven't you?
Hey, baby, happy Valentine's Day.
I'm quite a traditionalist with that. I like all the chocolates and flowers and all that. I've just come back off my holidays today, and the girl out there, we went out, lovely meal, flowers, took her back to the room, chocolates, made love all night, and I'll never forget the morning after, as I were counting her money out.
I don't know if you read this also this week. In China, the most popular gift on Valentine's Day was plastic surgery. It really was. It really was. It's like, I love you more than life itself. Here, go and get your face changed. But yeah, I don't know.
Let's have a look and see if Valentine's was one of the most talked about things this week. Valentine's Day is the one day of the year when you receive anonymous mail where the sender reveals they want to have sex with you and you think, oh, that's nice. We've got two more to get. Buzz in if you think you know what the nation have been talking about.
Is it the US Vice President going out hunting and shooting his mate? Which is really funny. I mean, he said, I'm mistaken for a quail.
Lenny went, did you see the size of that fucking quail?
It's a shame he didn't go with Bush, though, isn't it? Just, that would have been nice if he'd shot Bush. That would have been perfect. If George Bush had popped out of a bush and he'd blown his stupid face off.
Now, Reg, you're an American man. Have you been hunting?
No, I've never been hunting. I've been in the forest with a gun, but...
Don't threaten me, Reg.
I was doing something else, though.
I didn't think you shoot quails, because when I went on hunting, they only said that you shoot ferrets, rabbits...
You went hunting?
You sure you weren't working for Rent-A-Kill?
No,
You weren't hitting rats with a shovel?
and I'm going to go to shoot the ferrets.
You're going to go and shoot ferrets?
In the season.
In the season? Is there a season for shooting ferrets?
That's what they said.
Do you mean pheasants?
Pheasants!
Right, shall we have a look and see if Dick Cheney shooting someone in the face is one of the top stories this week? Yes, it is. Yes, 52% of you were talking about American Vice President Dick Cheney shooting a lawyer in the face in the woods outside Dallas. Right, we've got one more thing to get. Fingers on buzzers.
Is it the chip and pin card? If you're buying anything, you've got to know your pin number. You can't sign for it anymore. Is it that?
Well, that's been a very big story this week.
I think it's good because I've had money disappearing out of my bank account, going to shopping on the internet. I don't even know how to use that, so that's not me. And also gambling. And I don't gamble, and apparently I've won a few bets and all, but I don't know how because I've never even been on it. So this chicken pin malarkey is quite good.
I feel like I'm on a bus. I'm listening in.
Let's have a look and see if chip and pin was one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, it was. 54% of you were talking about the introduction of chip and pin this week. Right, well, at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean, Jade and Reginald have 2 points. Dave, Ed and Paddy have 3 points. The next round is called the Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to the panellists to fill in the gaps. 60% of air passengers have had problems with what?
The pilot. I just judged this on one incident where I was flying recently to Alicante and we got up to 35,000 feet. He came on and went, pilot, Captain Johnson speaking. Reached our cruising altitude, 35,000 feet, on the way to Alicante. Weather en route's fine. Shit! That was it. And we sat there like... He came back on and he went, I'm really sorry, I might have scared some passengers. And what happened was, in the middle of my announcement, the stewardess brought me coffee and spilt it on me. And that was all he was. I'm sorry. And he said, you want to see the front of my pants? And some bloke at the back went, you want to see the back of mine?
60% of Earth passengers have had problems with a life jacket under your seat and not a parachute.
Is it collecting their luggage? Because I get my bags lost on average once out of every time. I feel like when I check in and they say, we'd like to ask a few questions about your bags, I feel like saying, well, I'd like to ask you a few questions about my bags. Like, are they getting on the plane? Are you packing this plane yourself? Will you leave my bags unattended for any length of time?
It's also have problems with the safety, but the whole safety briefing thing, and the fact that you can survive a crash in an aeroplane just by leaning forward a bit. all right now, it's all right now, like that. Or attracting attention in the middle of Atlantic with a whistle. Oh, thank God they're here. 60% of bird passengers have had problems with that kid in front of them. Now, here's my tip. If there's a kid in front of you, sooner or later, he'll want to peep. When I stand on the seat and peep at you like that, here's my tip. If you're flying anywhere, don't peep back. Because it will just go on for the whole flight. 9 hours to Dubai, like that. Just get hold of it eventually. Go, it's always going to be me, all right? It's always going to be me here.
I would think the seats would be a problem. Like especially like in America, like say for instance, you got a fat ass. And in America, a lot of people got a fat ass, and I would think that the seats would consistently be a problem over there. But I've seen a few people over here, and they seem like, well, I've seen a lot of fat people, but they ain't got no fat ass. I don't know how they do that.
Reg, that's exactly the right answer. It is 60% of air passengers have had problems with their seat. The main problem being it's next to a man whose shoe is ticking. 2/3 of judges are in favour of what?
I think they'd be in favour of. I think it's a really good idea. If all the jury all wore fancy dress. One, like village people. One's a pirate, one's a cowboy, one's a spaceman, and they go.
What made you think a pirate?
A friend of mine was a lawyer, and he said he was in a courtroom where the judge sentenced this guy, and there's a certain sort of cachet in how you receive your sentence. And this bloke, he sentenced this guy to 2.5 years, and he went, 2.5 years, I'll do that spinning on my cock. So he gave him another 6 months.
Wigs.
Correct. That is the right answer. 2/3 of judges are in favour of wigs. So at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean, Jade and Reginald have 5 points, and Dave, Patrick and Ed have 3 points. And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls and surveys. It's up to them to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. Thing that most annoys men.
I'll tell you what annoys me, and it's a thing I've noticed more and more, especially in themed pubs, is when you go to the toilets in a themed pub and it doesn't say ladies and gents anymore. They put something like, they'll have pictures of 2 deer, and it'll be like Bucks and Hinds, and you go, I think I'm with Bucks. Oh. Well, the worst one is for swans, and it's a cob and a pen. And these have 2 swans, and you go, cob and pen, which one? Oh, I hate that. And I notice they don't do it with the disabled toilets. They don't have like a deer with an antler down like that.
I don't know what my manhood got nothing to do with it, but this annoyed me. I was watching news one morning, and it's supposed to be like the news, the man reading the news, this his news. And then he took newspapers from other sources, and he read the headlines as if this was his news. And he do this every day. And don't nobody say nothing. Now, when I did this in school, they said this was cheating. That's like me having my own cooking show on TV and saying, welcome to Big Daddy's Kitchen. I don't really feel like cooking nothing today, but look at all this wonderful stuff that Ainsley Harriet brought back.
Is it their girlfriend's talking to them through the cat? What's he doing? Oh, he's watching his programme. Watching that silly programme, isn't he? We don't like that programme because it's science fiction, which is silly for nerds watch.
You know when you think you've got a day off because your partner or your wife, she said, I'm going to the shops, I'm having my hair done, I'm going out with the girls for dinner, and then you're thinking, yes, yes. Get up, big breakfast, go down, get the racing post, pick a few horses, bookies, have a few pints at dinner, brilliant. Get downstairs, fucking list. Things to do. I've left you a list. You've left me what? Well done, girls. This is just remarkable. Number 1, feed dogs. That's all right. 2 minutes. No problem. Number 2, wash last night's pots. All right, minute. Number 3, water plants. We got plants. Number 4, point gable end. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I've no idea what pointing a gable end is.
Do you know those rough men that occasionally come around your house? They'd do that.
Giving directions when in the car reading a map.
Are you good at reading the map, Jade?
I don't know where to go when the line finishes.
I just wish, at this point, I'd just like to say, I wish this was a foreign film and that was in subtitles. In some art house cinema. They're going, oh, right. Interesting film.
I'm going to give you a clue to this. It's related to something you do in your lounge.
It's the loss of the remote control. Moving, can't find it. Where is
That
it?
is the right answer.
Yeah.
Sean? The thing that most annoys men is someone hiding the TV remote. My girlfriend hides the remote on top of the TV, which rather defeats the purpose of having a remote. Most dangerous driving habit.
Is it when you sellotape a cushion to your face like that? You can't see a bloody thing.
Is it a can of peas running under your brake pedal? And you can't use it, can you?
It's hardly a driving habit, though, is it? There's cans of peas.
Is it filling each other up if you with somebody else in the car while you're driving? Like, you driving, and then, you know, she rub on you, and then you start rubbing on her.
Then she says you failed your test.
It's to do with distance.
Parking.
Oh, up people's bums.
Correct. So the answer is the most dangerous driving habit is tailgating. Biggest problem facing dogs.
My brother really loves his dog, I think, a bit too much. And no, not in that way. But you know dogs are supposed to have 7 years to our one. He gives his dog 7 birthdays a year. He has 7 birthdays for it. But he gives it the bumps as well. The dog doesn't like that particularly. Because the last birthday was about 72.
I think the biggest problem for the dog is being told that he's a member of the family, yet he still have to shit outside. I think that's very confusing for a dog. And it make the dog not believe anything you tell him, like, well, I'm part of the family, but I don't see nobody else shitting outside.
Is he getting those buckets off?
Oh, I love those.
Yeah. I think they're made to make it easier to catch dog biscuits there, aren't they?
It is a health-related problem for dogs.
Worms.
Oh, so
Obesity.
bad.
Obesity is the right answer, Paddy. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Jade and Reginald have 7 points, Dave, Patrick and Ed have 6 points. I mean, Sean's team are the winners tonight. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Join us next time when our guests will be Kelly Osbourne, Neil Morrissey, Richard Madeley and Vic Reeves. See you then.
It's Richard Madeley. He can fix it. It's Neil Morrissey. And their captain, Dave Spikey. And facing them tonight, party girl, Kelly Osbourne. Country gent, it's Vic Reeves. And their captain, Sean Locke. Now, here's your host, Jimmy Carr.
And welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, the average person is capable of making more than 1,000 facial expressions? And this is the one I made when I heard that statistic. KFC is the most popular fast food restaurant in China. You would have thought it would have been a Chinese. 55% of men wash their hands after going to the loo. What I do, and here's a tip for you, is I wash my winky in the morning and then I'm good for the rest of the day. Right, let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Sean?
Well, I think definitely been talking about bird flu, the approach of bird flu that's coming to us. People are very worried about it, aren't they?
My mum panics because she reads all this stuff and she phoned up last week because she thought her budgie had got it. Sooty. It's got a budgie. And apparently he was just in the corner of the cage shivering and won't go up its ladder. And he loves going up his ladder, so he loves it. What happened turned out the grandkids had been getting him out of the cage and holding him over a globe of the world and spinning it down, and it just freaked him out. I'm too high! I'm too high!
Bird flu, horse run.
The government says don't panic. If it gets into a stress situation, just move them all inside. But that's where we are. That can't be right.
I don't think the chickens are too bothered, really, because compared to what the farmer's got in store for them, flu's a bit of a holiday, really, isn't it? But if I was a chicken, I'd be snogging other chickens trying to catch them.
They've been talking about 20 million people might die if the bird flu kicks off.
We're all right, we're blokes, aren't we?
Someone had to say it, Vic, and I'm glad it was you.
See what I've done there? Yeah, it's just the birds who are going to get it, isn't it?
If only, Vic. And then me and you could just run off together into the sunset.
Like we did last week.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look and see whether avian bird flu is one of the top 5 most talked about things this week. Yes, it is. Yes, the second most talked about thing this week was bird flu. The deadly H5N1 virus is close to Britain. Coincidentally, H5N1 is Bernard Matthews' postcode. Richard, Neil, Dave, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Wembley's not finished. Fuck off, really.
Big shot.
No surprise. I was looking at some sort of report on it. It said that it's going to have 2,000 toilets. Wembley's going to have 2,000. And there's your delay. Waiting for the plumber, aren't they?
I thought, actually, that one of the problems is a language problem, isn't it, with the Australian builders? Because they used to have the rising inflection. When they finish a sentence, they rise up as if it's a question. So I think when they say, like, tomorrow you'll start work at 8, all the blokes go, hey, probably means about 10:30, doesn't it?
I just like the part that they were bollocking them for doing coke. I wouldn't make them do it, just make it do it all faster.
That's the answer, Kelly. People haven't been brave enough to say it, but drugs are what these builders need.
Think of what you could build with 750 million. You could have a ladder to the moon for one.
For £1?
Well, that's better than having a big stadium, isn't it? A ladder to the moon.
Yes, but if you could deliver, Vic, I'd invest.
I've got 750 million to play with. I could have a pipe that goes down to the bottom of the Mariana Trench that you could slide down and get fired out the other side.
You're right, Vic, we haven't thought this through. A ladder to the moon.
Said like that, it sounds a lot more impressive.
A ladder to the moon. Yes, Mr. Bond. To build the biggest water slide in the world.
The problem you've got with the ladder to the moon, though, is where do you build it? You've got to have enough...
Do you mean a base camp?
Yeah.
Anglesey.
Hang on, who'd hold it?
Oh, no, it's got a metal base.
Oh, right.
Set into concrete, Richard.
Sorry, mate. Right, let's have a look and see whether Wembley is one of the most talked about things this week.
Of course it is.
Yes, it was. 35% of you were talking about the fact that Wembley Stadium will not be ready for this year's FA Cup final. The delays have thrown the fixtures list into chaos. Chelsea will now be playing Bon Jovi in the Charity Shield. Sean, Kelly and Vic, what else have the nation been talking about?
The robbery. I think it's wicked. Some guy got away with £40 million worth of unmarked notes. Good for him.
I blame the parents.
So you were right behind those guys who nicked your mum's jewels?
They can die a painful death. My mum's really pissed off about that. I think it got what was coming to him. My dad did fucking chuck him out a window.
Did he mean to, or did he just...
He's on satellite navigation now, isn't he?
I know!
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Your dad's doing satellite navigation?
No, he's not. It's somebody saying that it's him. It was like they had this whole thing in the newspaper, how that's like the new thing to download is the voice of your sat-nav. And it's the #1 selling is my dad's voice, and the second one is my mum's voice. If I had to get in my car and turn on sat-nav and listen to my parents anymore, I would definitely take a gun to my head.
Apparently now you can buy tractors with sat-nav. And I thought, how pointless is that? He goes, you are now in Lower Field. You are approaching Upper Field. Why would you want sat-nav in a tractor?
Or if you've got a really big farm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And you don't know where your fields are.
When does a robbery become a heist? We don't have many heists over here, do we?
exactly.
Someone
Only in
has
film
to...
titles.
Technically, the difference between a robbery and a heist is someone has to be lowered upside down on a wire.
All right. The police chief actually said the mistake they've made is they've stolen too much. What? And in the article it said if they got all the money that they'd taken and they stacked it all on top of one another, it'd be about 400 foot high. So if the thieves are watching, better not do that.
I think that... Sorry, I'm enjoying a boiled sweet. I shouldn't... I think they should melt it down.
That's a fine idea, Vic.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah. You have the look of a master criminal about you. There have been a couple of arrests.
You see that guy riding down the street on an elephant going, woo!
With gold shoes on.
Boats, everybody!
There was two of them disguised as policemen and the rest had the obligatory ski masks, baseball bats. Where did they buy them from? You went JJB's and go, ski masks, half a dozen, and... tell you what, baseball bats as well. Playing round is it's a bit nippy. It's all right.
The thing I find interesting about this robbery is that they say, initially they say it's 40 million, they say it could be 50 million.
Yeah.
And these are people who are supposed to look after money and they don't know how much is in there.
That's why they should have taken it if they're not looking after it.
It wasn't the fact that they weren't looking after it. They did actually have to break in, threaten to kill people to get it. It wasn't like they were just sitting on a riverbank going...
I just want to ask Neil, how would you get rid of 40 million quid?
Oh, so easy. Buy a little country.
Buy a
You
little
could buy
country.
one of those islands off Dubai.
Absolutely. Stick some electricity on there, grow a big, fat, whole plantation of marijuana plants and never leave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you may applaud, but what kind of example is that to little Kelly Osbourne? Well, let's have a look and see whether the heist is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, it is. Yes, the £40 million heist was the most talked about thing this week. The authorities are looking for people who'll give themselves away by driving flash cars and wearing lots of jewellery. Police have arrested Essex. Of course, they have no idea who did it. In other news, 9 dustmen have just bought Charlton Athletic. Davey, what else have people been talking about this week?
Well, there was a story, wasn't there, about the gay footballers having organising orgies amongst themselves.
Gay orgies?
That's something you wouldn't know anything about. But I mean,
we're just friends.
That's how rumours start.
That's a very big assumption, Neil.
So what are you trying to say?
Are you gay, Richard?
Come on, get it out now while you're on television.
Don't get it out now, Richard.
No. Well, I didn't like the stuff about the vibrating telephones.
Ah, well, you
mobile
see,
stuff.
obviously very useful as a sexual toy.
Depends what ringtone it's got, really.
That's what I think, yeah.
If it's got, do you know the way to Amarillo? Well, it's not up here, mate. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It gives a whole new meaning to the word ringtone, doesn't it? But you can...
Footballers run around on a field with a bunch of other men. Some of them have got to be gay.
It must be harsh news, though, when the manager comes in and goes, statistically, some of you have to be gay.
It's true.
It's you two. I'm afraid you'll be spending all your time in the dugout.
Apparently one of them, they went back to their house and one of them went off into his bedroom, came out with 5,000 in cash and said, I'll give it to anybody who'll perform a sex act. Now, the thing that struck me about that was £5,000 in cash. That money should be in an ISA.
Well, let's have a look and see whether it was the most talked about thing this week. Yes, it was. OK, what else have people been talking about?
The Prince Charles's diaries.
Go on, tell me more.
The royal family aren't to have any opinion on political or politics, anything, and I think he would write his beliefs on China and something's going on in China, I don't know, and send it off to people and they got printed.
Yeah.
It's like Newsnight.
No, you're right, the royal family aren't meant to have any political opinions. Do you know what that is?
Because it causes problems.
No, it's because they're inbred and they're stupid.
I think Prince Charles's diary would be like Wednesday, got up, ate a swan, it was good.
He's a real drama queen, isn't he? I mean, he's saying now that nobody will appreciate me till I'm dead. I mean, he's turning to Morrissey, isn't he? Like, nobody loves me, you know. He's a ridiculous prick.
Let's have a look and see whether Prince Charles's diaries is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, it is. Yes. This is the story of Prince Charles's diaries being leaked to the press. He describes himself as a political dissident. Funny, I can't remember Che Guevara having a butler. At the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean, Kelly and Vic have 3 points, Dave, Richard and Neil have 2 points. Welcome back. The next round is called The Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. 7 out of 10 adults are unaware that there is an £80 on-the-spot fine for what?
Is there an £80 on-the-spot fine for letting your kids scream and run around?
It is to do with kids.
Is it threatening to shut them in the car? Because, like, we are our son Jack, he was about 6 and he was really infuriating everybody, right? I used to say to him, if you don't behave yourself, you're going to the car. And on this occasion, it was Sunday lunch in the pub, and he wouldn't shut the fuck up. So I picked him up.
He's a proud dad.
It's OK, he's 19 now, I still do it. Put him over my shoulder and started to walk out through... And everyone was really glad, right? People like you. Nice one. Thanks, Dad, you're doing it. So I said, come on, we're going to the car. And we weren't really. Just going out the front, a little word, and then come back. Going out through all these people and the tables, and he's a little sod. He suddenly got the idea of going to above my head to the public, and he said, "Not the car! Not the car!" Right? I think, no, you're coming to the car. And he says, "Help!"
It's buying something you shouldn't.
Alcohol underage.
Correct.
Alcohol underage.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, 7 out of 10 adults are unaware that there is an £80 on-the-spot fine for buying alcohol for minors, but it's worth it just to see their little drunken faces. Kids slur the funniest things. 71% of Brits agree that what is an acceptable pastime?
Take it away, Vic.
Putting sellotape over your eyes. Just there, that. It is good fun.
Streaking in a mosque.
What about sex?
Sex?
Yeah.
Do you only find sex acceptable?
That's what I tend to say after sex. I tend to say that it was acceptable.
Is it acting? Acting isn't acceptable. It's not a proper job, is it?
Bollocks.
No, it's just you've got to read out loud without giggling. Really, that's it.
I was sat next to an actress at a dinner and she was talking about, God, it's so hard. We sit in this trailer all day long. I'm like, yeah, right, you get paid like £9 million per movie. Shut up.
Who was the actress?
Not telling.
Come on. Come on, name that bitch.
Patricia Routledge.
No.
That's Patricia Routledge getting £9 million a movie. Come on, who is it?
I think she's cracking.
I'll tell you what, we'll put you in the car. It won't be the first time me and Richard Madeley have bundled a young lady into the back of the car.
Can you give us a clue?
It involves holding something in your hand.
Angling? Going to be fishing.
Exactly the right answer, Neil Morrison.
I thought so.
So that means that quite a large percentage of British people think that angling is completely unacceptable.
And they're running on the riverbank, pushing them in.
Angling is totally unacceptable!
Here's your next one. 10% of dinner ladies see what as essential?
Is it food?
What about Topless Friday? No fried food today. Come on.
I'll give you a clue. It's to do with a kitchen implement.
Axe. An axe.
What about like a serving spoon?
That would be higher than 10%, I feel.
Yes, yeah. No, a lot of them just do it with their hands. Like that. There you go.
Well, I have to tell you, I can't believe you haven't guessed. 10% of dinner ladies think salad spinners are essential.
Oh.
So at the end of that round, I can tell you it's 3 points to Sean's team and 5 points to Dave's team. The next round is Believe It or Not. In this round, I'll give you a simple statement, and all you have to do is tell me whether you think it's true or false. Dave, Richard and Neil, let's see your clip. That was a clip from the 1984 horror movie Attack of the Beast Creatures. Here is your related statistic. If attacked by a bear whilst camping, 31% of American men would abandon their partner in favour of their own safety. Is that true or false?
What you shouldn't do if a bear comes at you, you should not run. You shouldn't run away because they take that as panic. I mean, I think you should run away if there's two of you. If she's there, you should say, let's run for it, because just keep a bit in front of her then, couldn't you? Just go, I'll run that way, you run for the cubs. She'll not attack you with her kids.
I mean, I know, I've actually dealt with, I know how to deal with bears. I know that I wouldn't want to, it's very easy to deal with. A lot of people get frightened, there's no need to be frightened. The thing about bears is you just let them come at you, just keep as fast as they want, just stand still, and when they're about 6 inches away, you just do this, you just go, whoa, like that. Because they've got those big, round feet, they've got no mobility, they just go, whoa.
Richard, I've got a question for you. OK, you're camping with Judy.
Yeah.
Do you abandon Judy if attacked by a bear?
I would lay down my life for my wife.
Presumably, when you get home, you go, I don't watch this, Judy. If attacked by a bear whilst camping, 31% of American men would abandon their partner in favour of their own safety. Is that true or is it false?
We now think it's false.
You are right, it is false. 7% of US men would abandon a loved one if attacked by a bear. Never mind a bear, I nearly left my girlfriend when that whale came up the Thames. Sean, Kelly and Vic, here's a clip to illustrate your fact.
These chimps sleep 12 hours daily, love bread and butter, tea, coffee, hot chocolate and the occasional bottle of beer. Brenner says that training them to skate needs endless patience and an inexhaustible supply of bananas.
That was Bonnie Langford without a celebrity partner. Have you seen her, Bonnie Langford, in that show? Yeah. I've never seen anyone look so pleased to be on television. It looks like she's going to explode if she gets any happier.
Here's a related statistic for you. 25% of vets have treated a drunk pet. Is that true or false?
But that could be just the same pet that's gone around a quarter of the vets in Britain. There's one real boozy dog. It's when those dogs start repeating themselves, isn't it? Saying the same story over and over again. Yes, I know, I've heard it.
An animal will head towards alcohol if it sees it. You know, if a pelican sees some vodka, it's gonna be in there.
You've got a lot of pets. What have you got, Vic?
Pelican.
Signor, no have pelican.
No, not have pelican.
I feel like I've arrived down in Mexico Way.
Yeah.
And the locals, they know so friendly.
Yeah.
Hey, English, you want pelican? Follow me, but tell no one.
So 25% of vets have treated a drunk pet. Richard, what do you think?
A vet only has to treat a pissed pet once, and he's in that statistic, isn't he?
He's got a point.
A whole career, and he's never treated a drunk pet? I don't think so.
I agree, Richard.
I think it's true.
I think it's true.
True, we'll go true.
Well, I can tell you, you are absolutely right. 25% of vets have treated a drunken pet. So at the end of that round, I can tell you it's 4 points for Sean's team and 6 points for Dave's team.
Oh, yes.
And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls, and it's up to them to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. Top priority for single men buying a house.
Is it a kitchen sink that flushes?
Is it one of those jewel-encrusted steel telephone helmet? It goes like that. And a massage glove.
I'm thinking we got points in the bag.
I used to live in a flat. It was very sort of thin walls, and there was a very, very attractive trio of girls who lived in the flat next door. I swear, before I moved in, there was a hole in the wall between my bedroom and... It was there. I thought of complaining to the landlord, but I thought, no, let them look.
When I was a single man, every time I moved, first thing I do, if I've got phone-connected electricity, I go to the nearest off licence, I go up to the counter and I say, hi, I'm Sean, and over the next few years, you'll be seeing quite a lot of me. Never sell me whiskey.
Opposite a pub, next to a pub.
Correct, Dave. Right. Dream holiday companions.
There was a thing in the paper the other week that somebody checked in and the luggage was 10 kilos over, and the guy went, well, let's see if we can take anything out, and they undid it. Telly. Why are you taking a television, Benidorm? Coronation Street.
I invented a holiday extension lead, which is it's about 100 miles long. So you plug it in, and you can use your own electricity supply. That's your holiday. Yeah. An electricity supply that you feel comfortable with.
Stephen Hawkins, I'd take. Because you get on the plane first then, wouldn't you?
Is it Judith Chalmers? Because she'd be really good company on the plane, and in the event of a crash in the Andes, she'd be quite tasty.
Do you think?
I think she'd be nice steamed.
If Judith is watching this, you're not under any sort of immediate threat. We're just discussing how we'd like to eat you. We're gonna eat you, Judith.
Is it an English person or American person?
It is an English couple.
Oh, what
Richard
about
and Judy.
Pete and Pete?
Is it her mum and dad?
Yes, it is.
Your mum and dad?
Over your shirt and get out of there. Oh, God.
Our nation's dream holiday companions are Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne. Right, that sound tells me that it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Kelly and Vic have 4 points, but our winners are Dave, Richard and Neil with 9 points. Thank you to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. See you next week. Cheers.
Tonight on 8 out of 10 Cats, funny girl Sally Phillips, funny boy Alan Carr, and their captain Dave Spikey. And facing them tonight, from number 42, it's Mira Sayal. He's in with the IT crowd, Chris O'Dowd, and their captain John Locke. Now, here's your host, Jimmy Carr.
Welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, snails can sleep for 3 years without eating? Of course, at the end of it, they are dead. 200 babies are born worldwide every minute, so if you've just had a baby, whatever, you have a 1 in 10 million chance of being killed by a champagne cork. Good news, let's celebrate. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. OK, Sean's team, what have the nation been talking about this week?
George Michael, surely.
He was found slumped at Marble Arch roundabout. And to be fair to him, that is a very tough roundabout to get off. I've been at that roundabout just going, oh, sod this. But I think in some ways it's a metaphorical roundabout for him. Yeah. One way, it's to go back to his clean-cut pop image. Another way is to carry on having sex in toilets with strangers, taking loads of drugs. And then the other way is Edgware Road. But the thing I thought was funny was they said they found some sex toys in his boot. And I thought, that's probably jump leads.
Apparently, though, you know, when they opened up the boot and found the sex toys, the gimp mask and the gay porn, he said he was off to a Lib Dem fundraiser on Hampstead Heath.
He slumped unconscious at the wheel and they couldn't rouse him.
They couldn't rouse him?
They couldn't rouse him.
If that happens, have a cuddle and then try again in half an hour.
I mean, he's sort of following the Pete Doherty school of driving, which is just get in a car and just get nicked. I don't know who the hell insures Pete Doherty. How does he get car insurance?
Well, he said to the police, he said, I'm not that much of a junkie anyway, didn't he? Maybe that's how he got car insurance. Not too much of a junkie.
But the other weird thing about Pete Doherty is he's the fattest heroin addict in the world. What's he cutting it with? Utterly butterly? Right, well, let's have a look and see whether George Michael is in our top 5 most talked about things. Yes, it is. People were talking about George Michael's drug bust. George Michael couldn't believe his luck when a man in uniform walked up to his car, knocked on the window and said, "Excuse me, sir, would you mind blowing into this?" George Michael spent yesterday caged in handcuffs and leather restraints, being brutalised by a police truncheon. He's relaxing at home. What else has the nation been talking about this week?
Fat kids. Sorry, childhood obesity, I meant. Childhood obesity, I meant. Well, they've had this government have had a body appointed, and they've been working 31 experts for 18 months. They're saying, well, we don't know what it is, don't know what the causes are, nutrition, exercise. What it is fat, lazy parents. Get off your fat ass and get the kids out playing in the park.
Yeah, down the park with the pedos, that's the best for kids.
I think they should leave the fat kids alone. Why make them do sport if they don't like it? They should do something they like double crisps.
I think we should reintroduce into the country coyotes. Because fat kids travel with fat parents. It's their fault. So you get these herds of dobbers, these fat families, and if we had coyotes picking off the stragglers...
Have you considered a career in politics? It does seem odd that they did a big report into the blindingly obvious.
5 quangos for the obese kids. And
5 quangos? And quangos are like 5% fat.
They're going to have health warnings now on crisps. It says, "Oi, fatty, have a banana."
Hasn't McDonald's shut down 25 restaurants this week, didn't they? They shut them down, yeah. But sadly, there were some fat people in. They were like, yeah, lock in.
Obese children were not one of the most talked about things this week. Chris, Sean, Mira?
The pay gap between men and women, that they've done some survey that over a working career, a woman will earn £1 million less than a man.
But they're not taking into account all the extra money you make at bingo.
Yeah, obviously.
There's no point paying us anymore, though, because we would just waste it, wouldn't we?
We would.
Chocolate and see-through knickers.
Yeah.
We're definitely motivated, aren't we, men and women? I think you've all been paid with money to come on this show. And Mira and I have there's a room full of baby seals at the back that we've been cuddling before we came on. And then the producer came into the dressing room and complimented me for an hour and a half on my frock.
You look lovely.
Thank you.
Do you want to go clubbing later? The baby seals.
Yes, I know, I got that.
It's hardly surprising women earn less with that story in the week about the air hostess. Did you see that story? There's an air hostess on a Virgin flight, a bit of turbulence, she went, "We're all going to die! It's going to crash! We're all going to die!" Normally people complain about a lack of information, don't they? You know, no wonder you're on 2 bob and a dozen eggs.
2 bob and a dozen eggs? You really understand women.
What gets me about this report is it's women undermining women because they're basically saying they're picking the wrong jobs and stuff. Because there was actually a woman who said it, Baroness Margaret Prosser, and I quote, she said, "Women in full-time work earn 13% less per hour," or something like that. I'm a bit just there.
Well, no, one of the things that did come out of the report is the fact that it's the type of jobs that women go into. They're given bad careers advice.
The 5 C's.
The 5 C's, yeah.
What is it? Caring,
clerical,
cheerleading.
Is it calling into the X Factor?
Yeah.
It's catering, cleaning, cashiering, clerical work, and caring.
Like nursing. That's a tough job, nurse. Go from pub to pub, take your clothes off. But also, there's a thing, I saw this thing, there's a way women can earn extra money. Did you see this thing at Heathrow Airport? They're giving people, if you work at Heathrow Airport and you find a bomb, you get 50 quid.
Yeah.
And W.H. Smith vouchers.
I believe it's M&S vouchers.
M&S vouchers?
M&S vouchers you get.
You can get yourself some new knickers while you shit yourself. Find a bomb in your bag.
Isn't that just their job, though?
Yeah, but they're incentivising them with
incentivising with gift
as if you didn't have that, a bomb would go past and you go,
Yes.
no, fuck it. I want an hourly rate. What is the point?
You know that thing they say, if you leave your bags unattended, your luggage will be taken away and destroyed. That's the job I want. I imagine there's a big, long room at Heathrow and there's some luggage at the end, and me at the other end with a bazooka. And I'll blow it up, and there's just sun cream and knickers going everywhere. Running through it. I don't want vouchers. I want that job.
Let's have a look and see whether women's pay is one of the most talked about things. Yes, it is. Dave, over to you. What else have the nation been talking about?
Is it that Lib Dem man? They've got a leader now, haven't they? Ming Campbell. And apparently they voted for him because he'd stop all the sex scandals, which I hope so, because he's 87. And he doesn't even look like he can get it up, let alone stick it in a rent boy. Do you know what I mean?
Just think about what you're applauding.
Yeah. But the thing that gets me is why does he call himself Ming when it's Menzies? And he said that because it's Menzies, it's M-E-N-Z-I-E-S, and he said, oh, in the Celtic language, we don't mention the Z. I'm thinking, well, you're in the English language now. I didn't know we could make our own language up. Do you know what I mean? It's like me saying, oh, well, I'm going to add an E on it and call him Minge.
But the reason they haven't got a vacancy there is because Charles Kennedy had to stand down because he admitted he was a recovering alcoholic. And it only became more apparent was when he found out that his chief advisor was called Lord Razzle. He said, should we discuss foreign policy? Nah, forget it, Charlie. Start spreading the news.
Let's have a look and see whether the Lib Dems are one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, they are. When Ming Campbell was announced as the new leader, Charles Kennedy was the first to toast the news. Although, to be honest, that was just a happy coincidence. OK, fingers on buzzers. What else have people been talking about this week?
There was a small story that David Beckham couldn't do his son's maths homework. His son's 6. That's not maths, that's sums, isn't it? That's just sums. If he's having trouble with sums, he's going to have a problem with problems. You know, proper problems. You know, like if it takes 2 men with 1 bucket 3 days to fill a bath, how long does it take 3 men with 2 buckets? So that's a... Turn the fucking taps on, honestly. Why have they only got 1 bucket? Why have they only got 1 bucket? That's just bad organisation.
Why are 3 men having a bath together? That wasn't one of the big talking points this week. David Beckham was in the news this week because he couldn't help his 6-year-old son with his homework. Beckham said, I may not be good at maths, but in my defence, I am worth literally hundreds of pounds. Anyone else got any other stories?
Is it the robbery? The robbery's still going on.
Yes.
They've arrested some fella, a car dealer from Kent. But they did say they had some fantastic pictures of him in the paper with a stripper, but there's one where he's drinking out of a shoe. It's great. And you think, you're supposed to be the mastermind, the criminal mastermind, and he's drinking vodka out of a shoe. Yeah, I'm Mr. Big. And they said it was done with military precision. They always say this, military precision, which basically means they all had a watch. They all went, blimey, it's 7:05.
The photo fits are quite ridiculous, weren't they? Did you see those? They disguised the photo fit as policemen. With beard and without beard, did you see?
He looked like the construction worker from the Village People. I was sitting there watching VH1 and I was like... He's with an Indian. Traffic cop.
Well, shall we have a look and see whether the heist was the most talked about thing this week? Yes, it was. The heist was the #1 talking point this week. Once again, police have arrested John Fowler. If found guilty, it'll be the biggest theft by a Fowler since Arthur stole the Christmas Club money. One more thing to guess. Any ideas?
Is it Hamza's son?
Abu Hamza's son is a rapper.
His son is a rapper. Where can I buy these records?
I don't know. Does his dad scratch on them?
Not one of the most talked about things, but it was in the news. OK, you got one more to get. Fingers on buzzers. What else have the nation been talking about?
We think it might be the trial with the Da Vinci Code, where the authors of, is it the Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, are accusing Dan Brown of plagiarism on the historical reference book about Jesus and the Holy Grail.
2 books are from 1982, aren't they? The Holy Book and the Holy Grail, and the judge told the jurors to use that as clues, the 1982. And I'm thinking, well, those of you who haven't read the Da Vinci book, when the killer gets hit over the head with that Betamax video, forces his hand in that soda stream. I mean, the clues are there, you know.
I have not read the Da Vinci Code. I've read the other one. I've read Holy Blood and Holy Grail. And it's a dope heads conspiracy, paranoid. Like, people sit around going, wow, so, like, Jesus... Right, it's Elvis, right. Oh. Imagine that. And he married, like a hooker or something. And after a while, you just go, this is just ridiculous.
How far did you get in that book before you went, this?
About About an eighth.
Let's have a look and see whether the Da Vinci Code is in the top 5. Yes, it is. 45% of people have been discussing the Da Vinci Code court case. The book reveals that in Leonardo da Vinci's painting The Last Supper, the character to the right of Jesus is not a man, but in fact his wife. They can tell that because you can see very clearly she hasn't ordered any chips, but she's eaten most of his. Right at the end of that, I can tell you that Sean, Mira and Chris have 3 points. Dave, Sally and Alan have 2 points. The next round is called the Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. Here's your first question. In the 1940s, 25% of men what?
Had my nan in an Anderson shells.
She flattened some grass, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Is it 25% of men ate a diet of only powdered egg and weasels?
Weasels?
25% of men who fought for our freedom and our future rights didn't realise 60 years later all the thanks they'd get would be happy slapping and pushing dog shit through the letterbox.
Well, Alan, all I've got to say to that is stop it.
In the 1940s, 25% of men wore knitted swimming trunks. They never had proper swimming trunks in them days. They used to knit them, didn't they? They used to go paddling off the coast of Blackpool and your trunks would be 3 foot behind you. Full of scampi.
It's to do with kind of moral depravity.
We're having affairs?
It's not having an affair. It's, I think, morally worse than that.
Murdered. You say it's worse than having an affair. Just trying. I mean, it might be a bit of a leap.
I think.
Visited hookers?
Correct. That's the right answer. Yes, in the 1940s, 25% of men slept with prostitutes. It sounds bad, but have a look at your gran. Can you blame them? 75% of Russians are afraid of what?
Is it Virginia Woolfsky?
I wish it was.
Well, it's texting. They've got to take their gloves off, haven't they? You ever tried texting with gloves on? You end up trying to say something like, "Hi, how are you?" And you end up saying, "Fuck, it's back at Boost Bob, mate."
Is it KGB?
It's not the KGB, it's related to that.
Oh.
B&Q.
B&Q is not related to the KGB. They would never...
TBC.
No.
CBBS.
Yeah. Correct. I'm afraid of CBBS, yeah.
It's one of the emergency services.
The AA?
Is it the police?
Yes, it is the police. Yes, 75% of Russians are afraid of their own police force. The other 25 are missing. Shh, say nothing.
Don't upset the Russians, Jimmy. Don't upset the Russians because they got all the gas. They could phone up Power Gen and they say, "Don't give him any gas." And they'll do it.
You know what the irony will be? They won't be annoyed at the joke, they'll be annoyed at that accent. OK, the average Brit has lost 37 what?
37 hours of their life explaining the internet to an old person.
It's like a big, what, like an encyclopedia? Yeah. Another cup of tea and a biscuit.
Is it Twixes? I never lost a Twix, it was a guess. Imagine if you'd lost 37 of them, though. You'd stop buying them, wouldn't you? What are you going to have? Mars bar, Twix? I'm not having Twix, keep losing.
I like the way as a badge of honour you said, "I've never lost a Twix."
37 elderly relatives to Errol Shipman.
I'll give you a clue. They're round and shiny, they have a hole in them.
Women?
Are you single by any chance?
CDs is the right answer. Yes, the average Brit has lost 37 CDs. So at the end of that round, it is 4 points for Sean's team and 6 points for Dave's team. And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls, and it's up to our teams to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. Most embarrassing thing that can happen to a girl on a night out.
Is it being given a handful of ping pong balls, shown the stage and said, hey, the show's about to start?
I met a girl in Thailand that could do that. I still won.
Is it shouting out, I want babies, by mistake?
It's bad on a first date.
That's quite bad, isn't it?
While walking through a hospital.
Is it ending up in a taxi with Darren Day?
That's a taxi ride home. That's a long-term relationship for me.
I reckon it's falling asleep on the submarine and waking up in the Ascension Islands. That's looking through the porthole. That's a bad night.
Is it at the end of the evening when you've gone back to a whole load of you have gone back to a friend's house and it's all got a bit boring, saying, well, we'll shave all our hair off. And then being the only one that does it, but actually not minding because you think that when they feel your hair, they're going to go, all the boys are going to go, oh, that's so soft, it feels like a little chick. And then actually, when it's done, your hair is so coarse and rough that it feels like a beard, you know, and you've then got a beard on the back of your head for 4 years, and no one will go out with you. Is it that, or is it being sick in someone's mouth?
I think the thing about people are so shameless now, it's very, very little that can embarrass people. Like a couple of 100 years ago, it'd be like leaving your glove in a gentleman's carriage. Shame.
Is it eating somebody else's donut? I took my wife out and I went and got a place in a cafe and she went and got 2 cups of tea and a Kit Kat and then she carried them back to the table and we sat down there and we were chatting and the guy opposite, right, he got a Kit Kat and he opened it and he ate a piece like that and we both went like that. So she got his donut he was having, like that, went like that. And I went, she had some jam on her nose, right? And I went, some jam on her nose. So she went in a bag for a hanky, and her Kit Kat with her. Quite embarrassing.
It's something that might happen to you in a toilet.
Is the toilet paper coming out?
I'll give you that. Yes, the most embarrassing thing that can happen to a girl on a night out is getting toilet paper stuck on her shoe. Next one. Least popular musical instrument.
Is it George Michael's horn?
Is it the haunting sound of the panpipes? You know, when you're shopping and you just hear that... Do, 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 do. Shit, is there anybody left in Peru?
Is it the communal nose flute?
No, but it should be.
It should be.
Is it a kiddie fiddle?
We've got to watch you, haven't we? It's an orchestral instrument.
Oh,
Is it the oboe?
The oboe is 4.
Bassoon.
Bassoon, yes.
Oh, well done, how did you know that?
The least popular musical instrument is the bassoon. The word for someone that plays the bassoon is a bassoonist, a word you might use in the sentence, will someone tell that bassoonist to shut the fuck up? OK, best way to be happy.
Eat a banana sideways.
Is it to get your own theme tune? So when you're just walking down the street and somebody plays it behind in the background.
It's more of a theme noise.
My granddad used to say, I'm as happy as a dog with a tin dick. Mind you, if he saw a girl he liked, he used to say, I know what she wants, 2 cakes and a bun.
Is it repeatedly shocking yourself in the head with quite powerful electric current?
You do seem very chirpy.
Is it getting to the toilet just on time? Blokes leave it too long, don't they? Because you're trying to find something to read. You're walking like Douglas Beardy, your colon's going to rip, but you can't find anything to read. Oh, Bella, thank you, God. One with twins separated at birth, found each other 65 years later, wearing the same cardigan.
I think I may have to tell you this one. The best way to be happy is having a genetic propensity towards happiness. Right, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are 7-all. Everyone's a winner. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.
Les is more. It's Les Dennis. Here's the news. It's Krishnan Guru Murthy. And their captain, Sean Locke. And facing them tonight, from Big Brother, it's Chantel. Taking the high road, Frankie Boyle. And their captain, Dave Spikey. Now, here's your host, Jimmy Carr.
Well, thanks very much. Welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 14% of cat owners think their cat is more important than their job? And the thing is, if they think that, they're probably right. Most deaths in hospitals are between the hours of 3 and 4 in the afternoon. All I'm saying is, it's only a countdown conundrum. Don't have a stroke about it. And the average man will spend 2,965 hours shaving during his lifetime. It's the bit round the balls that takes the time. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the public's top 5 most popular talking points. Krishnan, Sean and Les, what have the nation been talking about this week?
I think definitely the ongoing Tessa Jowell story. She's left her husband now, or separated from him.
Yeah, I think you can be a bit hard on Tessa Jowell, though, because, I mean, the point is that she didn't know about the gift, and she didn't know that her mortgage had been paid off, and she didn't actually know she was married to David Mills until she read about it in the Sunday Times.
The thing is that, I mean, some people say that did they split up genuinely, or is it an attempt to save her career? Apparently, what really tipped the balance was when she found out for the last 10 years he hasn't been sending off the pools coupons. He's been pocketing the money.
He's obsessed with money, isn't he? Because he's married a woman called Tessa.
Let's do this!
Aren't we asking quite a lot of our politicians to actually notice £350,000 in their bank account?
For some of us, it's a lot of money. Channel 4 News, they paid a big bucks.
But as relationship blunders go, it's quite serious, isn't it? It's not like he's come home pissed and had a slash in the wardrobe.
Sure.
You know, you could get over that. He's ruined her career. You know, that's quite a serious thing to do, isn't it? Ruin someone's career. You can't make that up with, you know, breakfast in bed.
Politicians ruin their own careers by going on Big Brother.
Would you like me to be the cat?
Yeah, OK.
Tonight's going to be a very different kind of 8 out of 10 Cats. Did you like the fellow? Did you like George Galloway?
At first, I thought he was like really crafty, he had like shifty eyes and everything, but he completely changed my mind about him by cheating and lying, and then I realised that from my gut instinct he was a very horrible man. And do you know what?
So sorry, at first you thought he had shifty eyes, and then you realised he was horrible. He really changed your mind, yeah, didn't he?
I realised he was horrible, then I realised that he was actually all right, but he weren't all right, because he turned out that he was actually horrible.
When someone changes your mind, you've got to end up in a different place than when you started. That's the whole nature of changing one's mind.
Do you know what the funny thing is? I was on a shoot today, right, and I come out, right, on... no, you're not
I'm living the dream.
I am living the dream. No, right, I am living the dream, but I walked out, right, on a street, a London street, with no one else around, and who do I bump into?
Was it Batman?
No, George Galloway.
Yeah, because he's following you. Was he in the back of a van with some binoculars? Oh, what a coincidence, Chantel.
How was it when you bumped into George, then? Did you...
It's just, he asked me how my nan was, which was the first question that came out of his mouth.
How was your nan?
My nan's fine.
Are you sure that isn't just a slang expression he uses?
How's your nan?
There's some place they call it a pitter.
Well, let's have a look if Tessa Jowell is one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, it is. Dave, your team, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Is it the Oscars? I liked Reese Witherspoon saying that she dedicated the whole thing to all the men that had ever dumped her. And you think, well, they don't care, do they? They're all sitting in the pub going, I've shagged that Oscar winner. I mean, I was lying about Halle Berry, but I have shagged this one.
The thing is that you've got Reese Witherspoon, who earns $28 million a film. She's got all those pubs, right? She gets... You know, and they're packed.
No, you try and get served on a Friday.
Crash beat Brokeback Mountain, didn't it?
It was controversial, though, wasn't it? I mean, I thought those guys in Brokeback Mountain were shafted.
I think the best thing about watching the Oscars is actually watching the nominees sit there when the winner's announced. Because I've been there. Not actually at the Oscars,
Not the Oscars,
but, you know.
no.
Have you never been to the Oscars?
No, the Challenge Game Show Awards. I've sat there, and you sit there with the camera on you.
Probably a throwaway camera, isn't it?
You have to sit and smile for it, though.
Let's have a look and see whether the Oscars were one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, they were. 47% of you were talking about the Oscars. It was a vintage year with films nominated dealing with such controversial issues as racism, homosexuality, gender reassignment and suicide bombers. Britain won an Oscar for a film about a plasticine dog that likes cheese. What else have the nation been talking about?
Is it Kate Moss? One of her inner sanctum. She said when she went to South Africa, she stayed at Nelson Mandela's house, which was in, she took cocaine at Nelson Mandela's house.
Isn't that where Del Boy lives?
That's probably what's happened.
Yeah.
There's been a mix-up.
Yeah.
She was in Peckham buying gear.
I just like the idea that he would have to go back to jail because they found a load of coke in his toilet. A bit unfair, wouldn't it? Come on, Nelson, get back in.
Dave, have you been following the Kate Moss
Well,
thing?
yeah. At some party, she snorted a line up off the carpet. And it must be like when you're hoovering at home, everybody pick your feet up, they're all like that. Like that. Well, she does this advert now. She's on some advert on the television for makeup. She always pops up on that. And she gets out of this car in the morning. It's, how does she look so lively and fresh-faced? And where's that energy come from?
Bolivia.
Bolivia, probably, yeah.
I can tell you that Kate Moss wasn't one of the most talked about things this week. In a recent interview, Kate Moss complained of memory loss. She said, "Yeah, it's terrible. I get these flashes of bright lights and I find myself standing around doing nothing in my pants." That's your job, love. You're a model. Dave, over to you.
Is it Chico being #1 and generally a Muppet? He's a sort of manufactured pop act who they've manufactured by melting down Peter Andre and a couple of spaniels.
So could you get off the fence? Tell me what you think of him.
I don't know, he's a sort of goat-herding anomaly from Morocco. The last time you'll have had a proper goat herder on the top of the pops will have been as part of Freddie Mercury's Rider.
Excellent. What do you think of him, Chantal? Do you like him?
Who are we talking about?
We were talking about Chico. He's
Oh, Chico.
he's a minor celebrity of no consequence. Well, let's have a look and see whether Chico is one of the top stories this week. Yes, it was. Everyone, it seems, has been talking about Chico reaching #1. Chico's real name is Yusuf Slimani. But if you were to shout, "It's Yusuf Slimani time" on a plane, you'd be wrestled to the ground and someone would take your shoes off. OK, fingers on buzzers. What else have the nation been talking about this week?
Have they been talking about Tony Blair's great revelation that he waits for God to judge him on the war in Iraq?
On Parkinson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did, yeah. It's quite outrageous, really, wasn't it? I hope for his sake God's not called Allah, because I reckon he's knackered. The first thing is, what's he doing on Parkinson? That is the softest ride you can get. I mean, Parkinson might as well give you a foot massage and a happy finish. I chat you long time. If Michael Parkinson asked you a question and you told him to piss off, he would.
If God was really judging Blair, he'd have made him appear on Davina.
And the other thing I thought in that interview was amazing was when Michael Parkinson said, what's your special relationship with George Bush? He goes, what I like about George is when he says something, when he says he can do something, he does it. You think, so he's the political equivalent of Ron Seal, basically. I said something and I does it.
Well, let's have a look and see whether Tony Blair is one of the top 5 talked about things this week. Yes, it is.
When he said,
Yes, everyone's been talking about the fact that Tony Blair was on Parkinson justifying his decision to go to war. Next week, Saddam Hussein is giving his side of the story on Des and Mel. OK, there's one more thing to get. Fingers on buzzers. What else have people been talking about?
Is it the story that if you take your kids on holiday out of term time, you can go to prison? The thing is, if you go on holiday and leave your kids in school, you're even more trouble. They don't like that at all. That's very bad.
Yeah,
and if you stay at home, and send your kids on holiday, especially if it's somewhere like Vietnam.
Christian, you've got kids. Would you take them on holiday during term time?
I would.
Yeah, but what if you're in prison and someone says, "What are you in for, Christian?" Tuscany in March. Yeah, couldn't help myself.
I reckon you'd be very respected by the other prisoners.
I took on Alton Towers. I'm a wrong one.
Let's have a look and see whether taking your kids on holiday during term time is one of the most talked about things. Yes, it was. Yes, this week it was ruled that children aren't allowed to go on holiday in term time. The offending parents face jail. Imagine being locked up in a cramped cell. No windows, terrible food, people crying and vomiting, and then when you get back from your easy cruise, you face prison. Well, at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean, Les and Christian have 3 points, Dave, Chantal and Frankie have 2 points. The next round is called The Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. Here's your first question. 25% of women pretend to be pleased when what?
They never, ever are. I mean, sorry,
Everything all right at home?
Is it when their husband brings them flowers from the garage?
Do you get annoyed at that?
Pardon?
Flowers from the garage?
I've never had flowers from the garage.
Off a lamppost, then.
That's just lazy, isn't it?
It's just lazy.
It's one of the sins, yes, lady. When their husbands get their photos published in Reader's Wives. Oh, great. Brilliant. Oh, they accepted them. Well, hold on, they got the town wrong. We're not from Doncaster.
No.
That's happened to Dave, hasn't it? He wouldn't put Charlie on it. I've seen you! The black mark on it. I recognise that silver bonce anywhere.
I'll give you a clue. The answer is related to gift giving. Something else you buy a lady. What else do you buy ladies?
Underwear.
Underwear.
Correct.
Lingerie.
Well done. OK, 80% of Brits think monkeys should not what?
80% of Brits think monkeys should not go near Pete Burns.
No, because he'll kill him.
He'll kill them.
Make a coat out of it.
Oh, yes, he had his monkey coat. I'd like to have seen this coat. Did he wear it?
Yeah, he wore it a lot, yeah.
Was it all the faces? Because I'd love that, a coat just made out of monkey faces. That would really freak people out at night, wouldn't it? You just step into the light. Hello. You never been to Chester Zoo where they mix the fun fair and the zoo? I went there and I was going, and the roller coaster goes over the gorilla's cage. And I swear, as I was going over, one of the gorillas looked up and just saluted me. Like, you know, for my evolutionary superiority. He's waiting for a go on a tyre. I'm in a magic mouse going, woo! You beat me.
Probably should not be kept as pets or something like that, or not be kept in cages or...
That is the right answer.
There you go.
Dave Spikey, well done. 80% of Brits think monkeys should not be kept as pets, which is fair enough, because although it would be fun to have a monkey around, you get very emotionally attached, and when it dies, it's heartbreaking. Also, you ever tried to flush a monkey?
My mum had a monkey as a pet, but it tore up their house in India, and so she had to kill it.
Have you got any more heartwarming stories of your youth?
She didn't have to kill it like that, though, did she?
I think they just...
How did she kill it?
No, she didn't kill it. That was a joke. I think she just got rid of it.
No, I'm with you. I think she did kill it.
Yeah, I think she killed it.
He's trying to cover up for his mum. No?
Yeah.
Your mum killed a monkey. Your mum killed a monkey. So at the end of that round, it's 4 points for Sean's team and 5 points for Dave's team. The next round is called Believe It or Not. In this round, I'll give the panellists a simple statement. All they have to do is decide whether they think it's true or false. Sean, Les and Christian, have a look at this clip to illustrate your statistic.
Fuck off! That's what you can do if you want to do. Look, I'm down bloody here and no fucking don't bloody come down bloody like a bloody press friend of mine. Fuck asked you to come in and have a cup of tea and you're telling me what the fuck. Jesus Christ couldn't tell me what to fucking do, never mind you.
Sean's dad there.
I like the idea that he's going towards Shane Ritchie doing a Daz advert. I'll give you 2 for this.
OK, here is your related statistic. Britain is the angriest nation in Europe. True or false?
How would you measure who's angrier than who? If you took the Scots out, we'd probably be all right.
I don't know. I think English football fans are the only people who, when they visit another country, the police there have to go into special training weeks. And you know that every time there's like a tournament in Spain or something, the local police are all in a field beating cows to death with a truncheon. Get some practice in.
Yeah, but Scotland, I went to Scotland once when all the rugby was on, and all there was like fat men with no tops on kicking each other in the street.
That was our Mardi Gras.
But we can't be the angriest nation. I mean, we get angry, but we just get quite vexed, don't we? We never follow it through. If you're on the phone to somebody getting really annoyed on the phone, our idea of getting angry is getting angry when you've hung up. And then so you go, yeah, right, yeah, no, you see, you're up, yeah, OK, right, oh, fair enough, yeah. You wanker!
People argue with me, they say I'm Keith Chegwin, and I say, no, I'm not. And they say, yes, you are. And they row with me. I'm not Keith Chegwin, you bloody are. I'm Les Dennis, don't be ridiculous, he's dead. Actually, had somebody say that to me.
Bless him.
Can we just get on with this?
He looked at you like you were a young monkey. Like he was just going to rip you apart like a chicken wing.
That looks like...
That's me after meeting your mum. Britain is the angriest nation in Europe. True or false? What do you think, Sean?
No, it's false. It's the Swiss. They're livid.
You're going for false?
It's false.
False.
You are right. I can tell you that the answer is false. Britain is Europe's second most angry country after Portugal. Yeah. Which means that Portugal go on to meet Iran in the final. Dave, Chantal and Frankie, let's have a look at a clip to illustrate your statistic.
Danke. Bitte sehr.
I know what that is. Wasn't that the day that you visited Scotland?
And those footballers, they love a sail. OK, your related statistic is 12% of British men admit having been reduced to tears during a shopping trip. True or false?
I only cried once, and it's when I went to DFS and bought a sofa full price.
The one day of the year.
I've been very upset by stuff I've bought. I fell out with this girlfriend of mine because you know, she's getting really upset because she thinks there's a big difference between, like, semi-skimmed and banana-flavoured milk. It's milk! Come on! That's just nitpicking.
I've been in a supermarket and people come and say, what are you doing here? You know, and I'm like, well, I'm doing my shopping. Every now and again, I've got to eat. It's kind of like they think there's a celebrity Asda somewhere, you know, that we all go to.
There is actually, Les, you haven't been invited.
That was nice, the little showbiz. Yeah. OK, so 12% of British men admit having been reduced to tears during a shopping trip. True or false? What do you think?
We all think it's true.
You think it's true? Well, I'm afraid you're wrong. Actually, just 3% of men have broken down and cried during a shopping trip. In their defence, they were shopping for their wife's coffin. It's the one she would have wanted. What, the first one you saw? Yeah. So, at the end of that round, it's 5 points for Sean's team and 5 points for Dave's team. And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give our teams a series of opinion polls, and all they have to do is buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. Most entertaining moment of 2005.
For me, it was the woman who had her arm bitten off by a lion. See that? Oh. She was feeding this lion a chicken sandwich, and it took her arm off. Oh, that's funny, that, isn't it? That's got to be... Well, I mean, no, because she's English, so what did she do? Because you know, if you're English and you have an accident, your biggest worry is, has anybody seen you? Isn't it like, you know, if you walk into a lamppost when you're going down the street, you might have a hairline fracture of your skull, but has anybody seen you? There's blood coming out your ears, but no, I'm all right, I'm all right. And I'm just wondering whether she went, come on, oh, shit. And everybody's like, are you all right? Yeah. What am I like?
Well, Chantal, any idea? What was your best moment of 2005?
When I bought a really nice pink dress that I wanted for ages.
Me too! Most entertaining moment of 2005?
Give us a clue.
Well, OK, the clue is it's a British poll and it's a sports-related thing.
Is it the Ashes?
Correct. Yes, the most entertaining moment of 2005 was England winning the Ashes. I remember the moment we won. I was just getting up to turn off the telly. OK, most common way people mistreat pet rabbits.
I'll tell you something you could do with rabbits. It's cruel, but it's not terminal. What you do is you get the rabbit, it gets ears, and you tie the ears to the hands of a clock. And so at midday, everything's fine. But as the day goes on, a bit tricky, and then around about 6:30,
Did you learn that off his mum?
Is it chopping its foot off for luck?
Is it taking it greyhound racing?
That would be brilliant to throw one in, though, wouldn't it? A little fat one.
Run, damn it!
I don't know, Jimmy, actually.
Tell them they're adopted.
No, the most common way people mistreat pet rabbits is not giving them clean water. It's actually very important. I recently gave my pet rabbit a nice hot bath with some onions, garlic and dumplings. Dumplings is the name of my guinea pig. Right, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the game, which means the final scores are Sean, Les and Krishnan have 8 points, Dave, Chantal and Frankie have 5 points. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.
Tonight on 8 out of 10 Cats. Back in the West End in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, it's Christian Slater, Sassy Lassie Lauren Laverne, and their captain, Sean Lack. And facing them tonight, Viva Las Johnny Vegas, Funny Man Rob Rouse, and their captain, Dave Spikey. Now, here's your host, Jimmy Carr.
Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, there will be an estimated 1.6 billion people in India by the year 2050? Good news if you're trying to get hold of directory inquiries. Half of Britain's school children don't know where ham comes from. Birmingham. And 40% of women never play any sport, despite the fact they're told in numerous adverts they can swim, cycle and roller skate with a Dalmatian once a month. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Dave, Johnny, Rob, what have the nation been talking about this week?
Snow. The worst blizzards in Scotland for 10 years or something. 5,000 houses without power, wasn't it? Glasgow airport shut. That called a bloke in Glasgow with a coat on. That cold. There is a serious message, because it is cold. If you know an old person lives near you, on their own, nip round, pop in, you know, use their eating. They get an allowance off the government.
Do people really talk about the snow, though?
Oh, yeah.
Ring up north. They're all talking about it up there.
Christian, have you got any idea what's going on?
I can't understand a word they're saying. Straight though.
Even me?
I just need your PIN number.
All right.
For a good cause.
Okay.
We love the snow in the north, though, don't we? Actually love the snow. As soon as it comes down, we're out there, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Come again?
We love the snow. We love the snow.
The Pope's coming.
No, we're not moving on to that until we've covered snow.
It's white. It's basically a hard version of rain. I when he passed me test 5 months ago, I didn't know you had to take it off the windscreen. To me, it was a magical adventure into Narnia.
Let's have a look and see if snow is one of the top 5 talking points this week. Yes, it is.
Hey. So excited.
Yes, everyone's been talking about the cold weather bringing parts of the country to a standstill this week. During the cold snap, gas prices have more than doubled. On the upside, it looks like the pension crisis might be over. Sean, Christian, Slater and Lauren Laverne, what have the nation been talking about?
Let's see, the Garrick Theatre, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I don't know.
I think they've been talking about the scandal of the Labour Party selling peerages for cash. Selling peerages, which is, I think, it's very strange, is that selling membership to a club which they've said they're going to disband quite soon. It seems a bit stupid. Do you want to join our club? Yeah, we are getting rid of it quite soon.
You could be Sir Christian Slater for 10 grand.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
That's all it
about
costs.
$1 million. It's about $1 million.
It's about $1 million. Oh, forget it.
Well, I thought about doing that. I thought about doing that because you could take out, you could borrow £1 million, lend it to the Labour Party at the same interest rate that you're paying, right? And then you're a lord, and when the bank phone up for the money, you go, do you have any idea who you're speaking to?
£500,000 Michael Flatley paid just to be Lord of the Dance. If he'd have paid a bit more, he could have used his arms. He didn't pay enough, that's it.
Well, let's have a look and see whether Labour selling peerages is one of the top 5 stories this week. Yes, it is. Yes, Labour have been accused of selling peerages by exploiting a loophole where they accept loans instead of donations. They've been defended by a number of leading peers, Baroness Claims Direct, Sir Ocean Finance and the Earl of Cornhill. But most embarrassingly by Lord Archer. Christian Slater, how are you?
I'm damn good, mate. Very good,
What's he on about?
I don't know.
Can't understand every word he's saying.
Dave, Rob, Johnny, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Is it anything to do with this Sir Ian Blair fella? Is he the chief of the Metropolitan Police who's apparently he got caught illegally taping a conversation he was having about the illegality of taping phone conversations because he likes to tape stuff. Because usually if you ring him up, he kind of says, "Hi, it's Ian Blair. I should warn you that this conversation is being taped for quality control and training purposes." Shoot.
You want to get permission?
If you're filming them, you definitely need permission, yeah. Especially if it's with a thermal imaging camera. I know exactly your body temperature now.
Even at Blackpool, when you got off with the right quirky lass, ruins the mood.
When you finish with a quirky
See that teddy bear with the massive eye?
Christian, do you think people should be allowed to tape phone calls?
To tape phone calls?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys were talking about?
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, there's certain conversations I wish I had taped in my life.
Which conversations do you wish you taped?
Well, they're, you know, little private, quiet conversations that I wish... they're distant memories now, and I really enjoyed them when I was having them, so... maybe she taped them. I don't know.
I wish I'd taped. The other day I ordered a pizza, I wish I'd taped the conversation. Because I said no olives. It turns out it's got olives in it. I said no olives. He said, no, you didn't say that, mate. If I taped it,
Yeah.
I could have got it
know
and
what
rubbed it in
I
his
said.
face.
Yeah. I think everything should be taped, though. I'm taping now. That's good.
Get that in a teddy bear's head and come to Blackpool.
I was wondering whether if you're on the phone to someone and you're not taping it, but you're doing a doodle of them, do you have to tell them? It's been a bad week for the Blairs, hasn't it? Because Tony Blair got defeated in the Commons, Ian Blair, and apparently Lionel got his tie in his soup. So... Christian, do you know who Lionel Blair is?
I love him like a brother.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who Tony Blair is. Leave Lionel out.
I just got here. I mean, I've been rehearsing this play for the last 2 weeks, so I've just been working on my lines pretty much. I've missed a lot of news. But...
And you're playing a mental person in this play, are you?
Yeah, mental. Hey, yeah.
Maybe you could learn something.
I'm watching, buddy. I'm watching. Yeah.
I like a shorter version of the Indian.
You are, yeah. Say this. Say, McMurphy, make me big again.
This is your chance.
There it is. That's great.
Look, Murphy. Make me big again.
It's Neil, you growed half a foot already. We can just do the whole play right here.
I can be the nurse and all. Go and just strangle me. I'm really good at running out of breath. No!
You bitch!
Billy's asking
Look at that, he's brilliant.
I can tell you two are going to be friends. We were, before the interlude, we were talking about the police chief Ian Blair taping phone conversations. Let's have a look and see if it's in the top 5. Yes, it is, the top story. 53% of people were talking about Chief Police Commissioner Sir Ian Blair secretly taping phone conversations. Ian Blair now answers his phone by saying, you have the right to remain silent, but could you just give me something for level? Sean's team, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
The ex-president of Yugoslavia, Slobodan Milosevic.
Slobodan Milosevic has died.
He died alone and friendless in an empty cell, aged 64. I love a happy ending, don't you?
They said, oh, he managed to escape justice, very craftily, by dying. You crafty devil. I know how to get off this one. Oh, yeah.
You think Saddam Hussein's thinking, hey, up, that's an idea.
It's a shame that Slobodan Milosevic died, because we could have got them together and, like, sent them on tour, the Cage Dictators tour.
Would have been a bit like King Kong in New York.
Yeah.
Just a big theatre and they open up, but don't be scared.
They're burying him in Belgrade now, aren't they? But they were trying to work out whether they were going to bury him on Heroes Parade or something.
Yeah, the Avenue of Heroes.
That's right, which is...
They had a big debate as to whether to bury him on the Avenue of Heroes.
Yeah,
I imagine that should have been the shortest debate in the world ever. Shall we bury him on the Avenue of Heroes? No. The weird thing is, they are.
Dave, I want me depth. I know what it's like being you now.
Fish out of water.
Slobodan Milosevic, Vegas.
Slobodan Milosevic.
Oh, Slobodan.
Again, go on.
Say it again.
Slobodan Milosevic.
Slobodan Milosevic. I'm not taking piss, I'm trying.
OK, all right. Look into my eyes, just concentrate. Slobodan Milosevic.
Break it down for me.
Slobodan Milosevic.
Slobodan Milosevic.
Near enough. Slobodan Milosevic, let's have a look and see whether he's one of the big stories this week.
Hey!
Yes, the fourth most talked about thing this week was the death of Slobodan Milosevic. OK, there's one more thing to get in the top 5. Fingers on buzzers. Buzz in if you think you know what the nation will be talking about.
Is it everyone's talking about Basic Instinct 2 with Sharon Stone, which is apparently going to be even sexier than the first one when she showed off in Nancy. And it's now going to be like looking at an old badger running into the woods.
Phil Oddie's going to go wild for this movie. Is that a badger running into the woods? Were you at the premiere last night, Christian?
Yes, I was.
Go on, how was it?
Honestly, she looks great.
She does look brilliant for her age.
Somehow, she was pretty hot.
Is this the one Stan Collymore in?
Yes, Stan Collymore is in the opening sequence.
He's good.
Is Bruce Grobbelaar in it?
Sadly, no. OK, well, I can tell you Basic Instinct 2 was not one of the major talking points this week. Fingers on buzzers, what else have people been talking about?
It wasn't, huh?
The pill. They've come up with a pill to cure heart disease.
Yeah, it cleans your arteries out. How can't they get the fat off your arse with a pill if they can get it out of the ventricles of your heart?
It's basically Sillet Bang in a taplet.
Yeah. Barry, what's his chops? He's got an out on his arse.
I think the consequences are, basically it's a slob's charter, isn't it? It means you can drink, eat, shovel pies down your face, sit on the sofa, watch Flog It for years and then just go, oh. I'm fine.
Let's have a look and see if the pill to cure heart disease is up there. At the end of that round, Sean's team have 3 points, Dave's team have 2 points. The next round is called the Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys from past and present from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information. So it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. Here's your first one. Johnny?
Oh, sir.
Is it...
Have you...
I didn't see a thing.
He can't read.
I can't. I'm an actor. I can't read. I don't know what it said.
OK. 76% of mechanics don't what?
Is it, don't agree with the consensus view that Ulysses is James Joyce's finest work because I actually quite prefer Finnegan's Wake?
Service cars properly.
That is the correct answer.
Where the hell did I get that? I'm possessed. Oh, no.
You're not having a point. Damn it. You are not having the points. I'm hurt. I've turned off the buzzer.
Okay.
75% of actors have what?
Is it a cape and a trilby?
Christian, I had one line in the film, I'm sure it will be cut, and it was location thing, and you get put in these little caravans.
Yep.
With chemical toilets, with the blue water.
Trailers, yeah.
Do you get them as well?
No, it's not glamorous, I know. No, I got one of those. Yeah, you got to pump it and do the whole thing. Yeah. It's
So even Angelina Jolie, when she's off to work in the morning,
Imagine that.
Rob, surely you don't think that if someone's that important, they get a caravan and then dig drains for them, do they?
Well, you never know. You never know.
So, I don't know, 75% of actors have a harem.
Have a harem, yeah.
I think you said a heron, like a big flying crane, like a heron. Like, this is an ostentatious thing. Instead of a feather boa, I have a heron. You could probably phone up and go, get me a fucking heron.
Yeah. What was the percentage again?
75% of actors.
Oh, it's gone. Had it been 72%, I'd the funniest answer in the world.
75% of actors have started their careers in a school nativity play. I only say that because I went to see my son. He was in his first nativity play.
Oh.
Where was he?
He was supposed to be Joseph, but he pissed about in rehearsals, and they made him the innkeeper, so he screwed up the whole nativity. I was so proud. But he was the innkeeper, and they came to the door, and the new Joseph said, I've come from afar, my wife and I, she is with child. Is there any room at the inn? And he went, yeah, plenty of room, come in.
75% of actors have what?
The fake name or something like that?
Correct.
Hey!
Yeah!
We'll get some points.
75% of actors have changed their name. A lot of entertainers changed their name. Norma Jean became Marilyn Monroe. Reg Dwight became Elton John. And Paul Gadd became prisoner H39702. Have you changed your name, Christian?
No. There's actually, because my father actually has changed his name several times in his life.
Has he considered Vegas?
Vegas is great. That's the best name, I know.
The thing is, it can lead to weight gain.
So at the end of that round, Sean, Christian and Lauren have 7 points. Dave, Johnny and Rob have 2 points. 2-7. The next round is Believe It or Not. In this round, I'll give the panellists a simple statement. All they have to do is decide whether they think it's true or false. Sean, Christian and Lauren, you're up first. Have a look at this clip to illustrate your statistic.
Jesus loves the little children, all the little children of the world. Red or yellow, black or white, they are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. Come summer night or snow-covered winter's day.
That was Neil Martin on Seaside Special in 1979 singing about Jesus. Here is your related statistic.
Right, okay.
62% of people who claim to hear the voice of God say that he has a posh accent. Is that true or false?
Well, firstly, I'm worried that you're polling people who hear the voice of God. Well, it's funny when people hear voices. They always hear voices to make them do bad things. Never hear voices say, go home, do the washing up, go to bed early. Have a nice mug of cocoa. Really, I should be out killing people.
I had a voice in my head and it got bored with me.
Do you remember that, the Greatest Britain poll that was a couple of years ago? I read that they did an American one. Do you know who got voted for the greatest American ever by Americans? Jesus.
Wow.
Seriously, it was Jesus.
Christian, you proud American?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like...
God.
OK, true or false?
I'd say yes, they do.
Well, I can tell you you're absolutely right. It is
Wow,
true.
what a feeling.
62% of people who claim to have heard the voice of God say he has a posh accent. Fair enough, I can't imagine God being a Cockney. You nail my boy to what, you toilet? OK, Dave, Johnny and Rob, let's have a look at the clip to illustrate your statistic.
Bike's a bike. How do you describe a bike?
If you have a bicycle but can't really describe it.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't lock my bike. I didn't think it necessary. I just left it in my back way and...
And you leave your bike without a lock.
No one lock pinched it round here. Well, somebody pinched it, didn't they?
And leave valuables in your saddlebag.
I'd rather not see what's in the saddlebag. It's personal.
You may well lose your bike for good.
That was a public information film there about bike theft. Here's your related statistic. 16% of Brits would steal a child's bike if it were their only means of getting home after a drunken night out. Is that true or false?
I'd steal a pram. If it was downhill.
You'd have to be pissed to even try and ride a kid's bike, though, wouldn't you, really? You wouldn't do that, no, with them little streamers coming out of handlebars like that. You never take me alive, copper!
Johnny, if you sat on a kid's bike, you wouldn't be able to see the front wheel.
That's the beauty of it. God, and the posh voice is going, use your left hand and your right hand and allow gravity to send you home, fat fellow. There's a skip with a handy ramp. You can jump that police car.
This is like watching a breakdown.
What do you mean, like?
Dave, what do you think, true or false?
True. Oh, no, if they've got a little basket on the front for a kebab.
There's no like hitting 70 with a snack. The meat starts to bounce up and you can catch it like a seal.
Well, I can tell you you're absolutely right.
Hey! We got a point!
Yes.
We got a point!
16% of Brits would steal a child's bike if it were their only means of getting home after a drunken night out. How are the drunk kids going to get home? Steal a car, I suppose. So at the end of that round, I can tell you that Sean's team have 8 points and Dave's team have 3 points.
Coming back to this.
And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls. It's up to them to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. Kids' most popular excuse for not doing their homework.
Is it that they were doing their kids' homework? So they couldn't do it themselves?
What, you mean those teenage mums?
Yeah. It's one of the complex issues raised by children having children in this country today.
I was driving through an estate called Breakmate in Bourne, which is rough, and somebody hung a bed sheet out the window that said, "Happy 30th, Grandma."
Christian, when you were at school, weren't
Yes.
you in The Name of the Rose and Prince of Thieves? How old were you when you were in those?
15, 16, yeah.
So presumably you didn't have to do any... You went, oh, I'm going to the Oscars.
I still had to do schoolwork. I mean, I still had to go, go to school and do all that. I had a tutor, lovely lady. She helped me out a lot.
Did you sleep with your tutor? There was a little glint in your eye that suggests that your tutor was teaching you a lot of things.
Thanks for picking
A lot of things you need to know.
Thanks for picking that up. She was lovely, yes, and I learned a lot.
Is it that they actually did their homework, but it was in the backpack and they left it unattended at the bus station and the police blew it up?
It's not that imaginative.
Is it, they've forgot it, lost it?
That's exactly it. I forgot it is the number one answer. There are various punishments for a child that doesn't do their homework, lines, detention, and a lifelong career at Dixon's. Top problem for chronic coughers.
They cough a lot.
Is it not being allowed to go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Or even sit in the audience?
Is it sneaking up on people?
Is it... You wouldn't get much work in porn, would you, go?
Oh, God!
Pulling a muscle or something? I mean, you might pull a muscle.
It's not pulling a muscle. It's to do with... it's an aspect of everyday life.
Is it having sex?
Correct. That's the right answer. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Christian and Lauren have 11 points. Dave, Johnny and Rob have 4 points. Means Sean's team are the winners. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.
The new film Confetti, it's Jessica Stevenson. Queen of the Jungle, it's Carol Thatcher. And their captain, John Locke. And facing them tonight, blonde bombshell, Ulrika Johnson. Tart with the heart, Ellen Carr. And their captain, Dave Spikey. Now, here's your host, Jimmy Carr.
Well, thanks very much. Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, koalas are asleep 80% of the time? So keep it down. 91% of people over 60 think we show less respect for each other than we did in the past. Silly old fuckers. And a single kiss can contain 40,000 parasites, 250 types of bacteria, and up to 0.45 grams of fat. A French kiss is the same, but it can also contain dog shit and garlic. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the British nation what stories they've been discussing this week. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Sean, Jessica, Carol Thatcher, what have the nation been talking about this week?
This is a bit of a shot in the dark, but Commonwealth Games.
Oh, yes. Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, which is pretty much a medal trolley dash, isn't it, really? For Jersey might win a medal, which I thought was quite nice. They're very excited, because the only time they've won a medal before was for fudge.
Jessica, have you been watching it?
Oh, quite avidly. Well, we're actually winning things. I mean, the Commonwealth Games is a game for people who don't really want to compete with people who might beat them, you know, like America.
I think the strange thing about the Commonwealth Games is the fact that it's basically all countries that Britain's invaded in the past. And it's a bit cheeky, really. It's like saying, that whole thing we invaded and took all your natural resources, it's all right, it's fine, isn't it? We're all fine about that. Let's play. Come on, let's play.
Some of these Pacific islands that come along, they mustn't be used to, like, all the razzle and dazzle of, like, the Commonwealth Games. I don't know if you saw the opening ceremony, but I can imagine when that koala came down on that flip-flop, people going, trying to get it with speed. Because you would be freaked out, wouldn't you?
Did you say koala on a flip-flop?
Yes.
Because I didn't see the opening of the games, and I'm really regretting it now.
A tram with wings comes down, and you think, this is ridiculous. Double take, koala on a flip-flop. People from Papua New Guinea shitting themselves.
Probably thinking we've got a new god. Let's have a look and see if the Commonwealth Games were one of the most talked about things this week. Yes, 44% of you have been talking about the Commonwealth Games. Congratulations to the Scottish, who did very well in the swimming after the heating in the pool broke down. Dave team, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
Budget, probably. Gordon Brown's 10th and possibly final budget.
VAT off condoms.
Well, that's going to save me, what, 13 pence a year?
And he said, he also knows champagne, there's no duty on champagne. He said, we might win the World Cup. It's like, we is Scottish git. What are you saying, we?
The one thing that got me about the budget was they were saying how green it was, and one of his ideas, Gordon Brown, was to put a wind turbine on the back of every council house, right? Now, if you live on the estate I live, it's going to be like living in a fucking wind tunnel. I mean, there's going to be chavs, Alsatians, buggies blowing past my window. Is that hailstones? No, just sovereign rings banging on the patio door.
There was also his headline-grabbing thing was 4x4s get punished in some way.
People who drive those huge kind of tank-like cars, the 4x4s, you know, they're getting taxed more than ordinary people who drive ordinary cars.
I have one and I'm very proud of mine, so fuck you.
That's the kind of person we're trying to stop.
OK. But I do recycle things. I do a lot of recycling.
I've seen that top before.
Yeah?
Basically, and I know it's stereotypical, but they are generally women taking the kids to school.
They've got to take those kids to school, but some of those kids' legs are about that long. You know, they've got to need a big car for them. Some of them have got satchels as well.
I need lots of seats.
They take up a lot of room. And they're tired after a day in school, they need to lie down.
Well, fuck you, I still like to have mine, so there you go.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Well, you're going to be £40 worse off?
I am, and that's why I'm on this show.
Has anyone seen the budget that John Prescott had fallen asleep? Did you see that?
It was like art, wasn't it?
It was funny because Gordon Brown said, like, we're going to cut money here, as you can see on my pie chart. He went, pie? I want to talk about the secret donors. Donuts! Poked him up a few times.
He's also planning to give women more opportunities, work training. In fact, it's double training for women. It's like, almost like a sort of punishment. Basically, he wants more women plumbers. Sounds like a fetish, but...
So he's trying to get more female plumbers,
I imagine he's got this idea that he comes down one day and he's got his dressing gown open and there's just women plumbers all over his house. Crawling all over it. There's some website, I don't know, Wrench Wench or something.
Let's see if the budget is one of the top 5. Sean Steen, what else have people been talking about?
Rivers of cash, political sleaze, flogging peerages for cash.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened in your mum's day, would it?
No.
Well, there was a bit of sleaze in Tory days, though, wasn't there?
Well, everyone's sleazy. I mean, it's politics, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, grow up.
They're calling the loans in, aren't they? A lot of people, they've realised that it's kind of sullied their title that it's been bought for, so they're calling the loans in, and Labour will have a funding problem in the next few months.
The Labour Party, they could do one of those Oxfam adverts, couldn't they? Just £2 a month, and then I'd like John Prescott open an empty fridge and go... That'd be good, wouldn't it?
But didn't Gordon Brown say he's the Chancellor of the Exchequer? He knew nothing about it. I know nothing about these loans. Pop round to Tony's for a cup of tea. He's like, is that a new conservatory? Where's the money come from for that? Oh, scratch card. Got lucky, you know. I've just come round to discuss the next party conference. What do you think? Brighton, Bournemouth, Mauritius.
Well, shall we have a look and see if the Labour loans is in the top 5? Yes, it is. Yes, the Labour loan scandal rumbles on. The problem with the scandal is that it's so boring. Say what you want about the Tories, but their sleaze was brilliant. They got their secretaries pregnant, they had sex with trollops in football kits, they asphyxie wanked themselves to death with oranges in their mouths. Your mum's got a lot to be proud of. Dave, Ulrika, Alan, what else have the nation been talking about this week?
What do we think?
Is it that the hostages being released? Yeah, the hostages were released.
Norman Kember's free, God bless him.
I know. I mean, he's 84. I mean, he's a pensioner. I mean, you know what I mean? If he wanted to be beaten and chained to a radiator, he would have got a home help. As he was pulled out of the cell, he went, "That's the last time I go on a saga holiday."
What was he doing there in the first place? He said he wanted to make a difference. Norman Kember wanted to go out and make a difference. It's like all the Iraqis going, he's coming, Norman Kember's coming. He's got a guitar and some sandals. Come by, no, you come by here, mate. Get in there.
Well, shall we have a look and see if Norman Kember is up there? Yes, he is. Yes, the #1 talking point this week was the release of hostage Norman Kember. Church leaders described the release of Norman Kember as a miracle. Other miracles in Baghdad this week included car bombs that killed 60 people every day. Nice one, God. OK, there's one more thing in the news.
It's Mother's Day on Sunday. People have been talking about that. I bought a card today. It's the biggest rip-off in the world. It's cards. They've invented occasions. I mean, Mother's Day is pretty legitimate, but I mean, happy bonfire night. You think happy bonfire night, congratulations on your first shag. How irritating you've got thrush. Things like that. And
congratulations on your hung jury. That's always a nice one.
Well, I got to the till and I went, "I'll have that card, please." Nice card, it's got roses on it. She went, "That'll be £3.99. Isn't it? Fucking won't. For a bit of card, it's a bit £3.99. I went to Boots next door and I got a gift voucher, £1, and you get a card with it. So. And you don't have to send a gift voucher, you just send a card. Go back in next week with another £1 and have a gift voucher, please. There you go.
What are you getting your mum for Mother's Day? Sorry, that was in English, wasn't it?
Yeah. She might want to keep it a secret. She doesn't want her mum to know. That's why she's...
I don't know whether Maggie watches this. I'm pretty sure she doesn't. Well, I can tell you Mother's Day is not on the list. It's one of the smaller stories this week. Of course, everyone loves their mum, even if they've done really bad things, like systematically dismantle the unions or destroy the welfare state or go to war to win an election. Fingers on buzzers. Any other idea what's in the top 5?
Is it the story about the teacher who's suing for sexual discrimination because she was given a humorous chair? She had a flatulent chair, a chair that made fart noises when she sat in it. She said she was deliberately given this chair to undermine her position.
Apparently, this happened for 4 years. So you'd think, you know, after 6 months, she might get another chair. But why?
Sorry, for 4 years?
4 years, apparently, this happened.
She said she had to constantly go explain it. She goes, "So it's not me, it's the chair." Occasionally she'd go, "That was me."
The trouble is she wasn't taken seriously. I mean, she went to the governors and said, "Look, my chair farts." And they went, "Who smelt it, dealt it?"
I've got the picture. Do you want to see it?
Have you got it?
Yeah, have a look.
The face,
She
her
looks
expression
worried.
there.
She looks like she's holding a fart in.
Well, let's have a look and see if the farting chair is up there. Amazingly, it's one of the most talked about things this week. This is the story about a teacher who sued her school because they gave her a farting chair. She had made a really convincing case for herself at the tribunal until she let one rip and blew the judge's wig off. At the end of that round, Sean's team have 3 points and Dave's team have 2 points. The next round is called the poll with a hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys, past and present, from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information, so it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. 67% of Brits think that what is the ultimate status symbol?
Having your own table in Greg's the Baker's. Same table, sir. Thank you.
Is it like when they lift their white trilbies? Why do they wear white trilbies, bakers? I never understood that.
They're really
like
into Michael Jackson.
jazz about them.
Using a baguette as a stick.
It's kind of something that the super rich have.
A jet.
Even more impressive than a jet.
A country.
A country is pretty close.
Private island, little
Correct.
island. Come on.
That's the right answer. Yeah. Yes, 67% of Brits think that owning a private island is the ultimate status symbol. Of course, they say no man is an island, although when Eamon Holmes is swimming, you'd be forgiven for making the mistake. OK, Sean, Jessica and Carol, 1 in 5 pet owners love what?
Testing out shampoo at home on them.
Love.
I'm not using that one. Have you got any pets, Carol?
No.
No? Right. Thanks. I love chatting with you. It's great fun.
It's to do with the rest of their family.
Love them more than their children.
That is the right answer.
Oh, my God.
Here's your next one. 26% of women are impressed by men who can what?
Is it impressed by men who can watch loose women without throwing acid in their own face?
Is it by men who can find the G-spot? Apparently it's between 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. I'm not staying up special, you know what I mean? It's like...
Jessica?
I am impressed by men who can dance. Actually, that does impress me. Slightly suspicious, but...
I've got a table at Greg's.
It's quite a simple thing. The clue is it's remembering something.
Why is it that men are bad at remembering things?
Because it's not important.
OK.
Remember the birthday, is it? Or remembering the anniversary?
That is the right answer, Dave. So at the end of that round, it's 5 points for Sean, Jessica and Carol, and 4 points for Dave, Ulrika and Alan. Now, it's time for What's the Poll? I'm going to show you 5 people who are all popular answers on the same poll. All our panellists have to do is tell me what's the poll. Here is your first person.
This is Mr. Bono, who is a singer. He has a gift for you.
This is the great poet of Ireland. It is 20 years since you went to Ireland, a very special trip. I was a boy. And you are a great showman as well as a great holy man. And that is for you. And also my glasses I give to you.
That was Bono there meeting the Pope.
He's giving him the present. The Pope's going, just give it to me. he's going, just give me the bleeding present. I just want my present. Then he gives him his glasses like he's an orangutan or something. I go, put them on.
What poll might he have appeared on?
Is it people who you'd never hear say enough about me?
Do you like U2, Carol?
I don't listen to a lot of music. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. God, you'd be a tough date.
People who like going car booting.
I'll just check. Hang on. No. OK, let's have a look at the next person on the poll.
I'll flaming well kill ya!
You did it for me!
You take back what you said!
You bitch!
You cow!
That was, of course, Peggy Mitchell there.
That was like watching the Chuckle Brothers with wigs on.
She did do a funny little run-up there. So, Bono and Peggy Mitchell, what poll might they both have featured on?
Is it people that once you pinch their bum, they start to giggle?
Whole of somebody whose wig stays still while her face moves. I don't know.
Are they people who've lost items of clothing in Pauline's laundrette?
Let's have a look at the next person on our list.
Edwina Cohen, are you always two-faced?
I beg your pardon?
Are you always this two-faced? This morning you told me blatantly that you were happy with your special, and now 7 hours later, you're not happy with it. That's what I'm saying. Are you always this two-faced? 1 minute you're shagging our Prime Minister, and now you're trying to shag me from behind.
Gordon Ramsay there arguing with Edwina Curry. Gordon Ramsay once famously called Gary Rhodes a c***. Oh, no, wait, that was me. What poll do you think Bono, Peggy Mitchell and Gordon Ramsay might have appeared on?
Is it food related? It's like he makes pizza, doesn't he? Gordon Ramsay. And then The Edge is the name of a pizza, isn't it? Peggy Mitchell's friend's Pat Butcher, whose nickname's Stuffed Crust. And,
Sean, what do you make of Gordon Ramsay?
I watched a bit of the Nightmares thing there.
Did you see that woman in Derby who bought that restaurant, The Gondola?
My God!
It's
500 things on the menu.
I know.
That's why I don't watch it.
It really is like
Did you see her
prawn
nails?
cocktails. Oh my God!
This is good because I didn't get to go to the laundrette this week, so I'm catching up on all the news. OK, let's have a look at the next person.
Never, ever, ever underestimate me, because you will be making a fatal error. I don't like liars. I don't like cheats. I don't like bullshitters. I don't like schmoozers. I don't like arse lickers. All right, on your bike.
So Gordon Ramsay, Peggy Mitchell, Bono, Alan Sugar. What's the poll?
Judging by some of the clips we've seen, they obviously have, or at least 3 of them, have got bossy, violent, homicidal tendencies.
You're along the right lines.
Yeah.
Come on,
I tell you what, Carol, you'd make a great detective sidekick. I
Career
felt like
move,
Morse.
career move.
I felt like Morse, and you were my Lewis there, very much.
I can see a pattern emerging here.
This better be a really good connection.
And
Well,
he...
it is a good connection. It's to do with people wanting to have a relationship with them. Yeah.
Some people want to work for them.
That's exactly the right answer.
Yes!
The answer is they all appear on a poll of dream celebrity bosses. I've got a terrible boss. I'm self-employed, and I'm currently on sexual harassment charges. So at the end of that round, it's 5 points for Sean's team and 6 points for Dave's team. And the winner is the name of our final round. I'm going to give the teams a series of opinion polls, and it's up to them to buzz in and tell me who or what they think came top. Here is your first one. Most annoying thing about weddings.
Me, because I always drink too much and I try to get everybody dancing, and then I kind of make the excuses because I've got kids and I'm out, you know, and it's a lie. It's just I'm just the same as I always have been, which is rowdy and alcoholic.
Is it the marriage bit?
Yeah, it's legally binding and everything. Yeah.
Really annoying.
Speeches. I mean, people do bang on, don't they?
Yeah, sorry about that. It's kind of my job, though, in fairness. I can't.
Is it like the realisation that you've wasted a whole Saturday afternoon watching this shit?
Jessica,
Yes?
you're in a film about weddings, aren't you?
I am. I'm in a film with you, Jimmy Carr. Yeah.
Imagine that mishap in casting. It's all right.
Confetti. It's about weddings, yeah.
It was all improvised. If you asked them where we were filming the next day, they'd go, "We don't know. We'll see what happens."
She's trying to get rid of you, Jimmy.
Oh, sorry, yeah, we don't know where we're going to be.
Yeah. OK, most annoying thing about weddings.
Is it wedding lists?
That's the right answer. Top hobby for women.
Shopping, retail therapy, bashing the credit card, buying a load of shit in sales that you're never going to wear because it was a bargain.
That sounded almost like a rap.
Poetry. Is it nagging?
Yeah,
about
sisters. Is it nagging? Is it sisters?
But
What do you do? You're women here. There's lots of women here. Well, what the hell do you do with your spare time? That might help us if you put your brains together, girl. Don't you like, you know,
Carol, what do
making
you do?
little things?
Yeah, I love making things,
Just making
Sean,
little
but I haven't got
things.
the time, have I? What? Too busy doing the washing.
Do none of you like, do you know, like falconry or anything like that?
Yeah, I'd love to do a bit of
Falconry?
falconry, Sean.
Yeah, you can get a big
There
glove.
ain't enough hours in the day. I'll
can
go
see
home
you.
now, tonight, and do some falconry.
Oh, I'd love to do it, but we'd all love to do a bit of falconry, Sean.
Yes.
Think about
Well,
you, Sean, as
maybe
you really understand women. It's an obvious hobby.
Shooting. They like going shooting.
You might get a bit dirty doing it.
Gardening.
Gardening.
Correct.
Oh, just got there.
Who's got that?
Worst royal to go on holiday with.
Queen Mother.
I'm going to have to break the news to you, Sean.
No. You try and check a coffin in at Heathrow. It takes... And you say, no, it's to come back as well. We're just going away for a little trip.
Is it Prince Philip?
You're absolutely right.
Am I?
Yes, according to the survey, the worst royal to go on holiday with is the Duke of Edinburgh. Tell that to Dodie Fayed. What, no one can tell me that weekend went well? Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Jessica and Carol have 6 points, Dave, Ulrika and Alan have 9 points. They're this week's winners. Thanks to all of our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night. Hello, I'm Jimmy Carr, and that was an old clip of me. That happened in the past when I was funny. I'm still funny now. Come and see me live on tour. Join in. IRL. Yeah, kids.